So let me see. So I am currently live on Instagram and I'm live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. How awesome is that? So I would love it if you would say hello. I would love it if you tell me where you're coming in from. If you're on Facebook, you might need to give StreamYard permission to show your name. Hi, doing great. Thanks for thanks for the comment. So, um, yeah, I wanted to talk about motherhood. So first of all, for anyone who is, I can, but I'm not going to. Sorry, hon. So let me see, where was I? Oh, yeah. I was going to talk about motherhood because here in North America, it is Mother's Day. I was live on TikTok earlier, and one of my friends from New Zealand told me that it was Mother's Day there yesterday. So I hope she had a good day. But so if you are here and if you're here live and you are celebrating Mother's Day, I would love to hear what you did. Sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah, checkbook when you have a moment.
Yeah, I'm busy. Sorry about that. I forgot to put my do not disturb sign on my door, but there it is. I should have been been more explicit, but there it is. So Mother's Day. So if you celebrated Mother's Day, I would love to know what you did. And sorry, hon, I know you want to join me on this video, but I'm not going to. Sorry about that. So I went up with my partner and two of my kids. We went up to Gimli, which is a resort town on Lake Winnipeg, and we had a lovely day. We've been going up to Gimli on Mother's Day since 1997, I guess. Maybe even 1996. My oldest was born in March, so maybe we started going there when he was an infant. I don't know. But yeah, no, sorry, I do not want a partner right now. But thank you. Um, so Mother's Day, it can be a really fraught and painful day for a lot of people because not everybody is as fortunate as I am that uh, I have children. I wanted children. I was able to have them, and I had them, and we are connected. They're now young adults, but we are still connected. And that is not something I take for granted, let me tell you, because I know there's a lot of people who don't have a good relationship with their mother. I know a lot of people who have complex, shall we say, relationships with their mothers. And my own mother passed away in 2003. So, whatever complications we had, there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm older and I have a much better understanding of what her life was like, but I don't have the ability to talk with her about it. I mean, I can talk to her, but getting an answer could be a little tricky. So there's that. And there's a lot of people in that situation that either their mother has passed away or they have a complicated relationship with her and maybe they don't talk or maybe they do talk, but um, it's nothing that is of real significance. And I was talking with somebody who was on a really long call with their mother, and it was just I was like, well, can't you just say you're done and you need to stop? And they were like, no, I can't. So everybody has to make their decisions. Everybody has to build their own life um, and their own relationships. But I'm just saying is that Mother's Day is not always as it's not always flowers and mimosas. Let's put it that way. So just wanted to bring that. Yes, absolutely, humanity is important. Not sure what you mean by that, but that's okay. And then the other thing is right now what's happening in our neighbor to the south. I'm in Canada, and I'm very grateful to be in Canada. Um, Things are happening in our neighbor in the United States, which really bring bring it to mind, bring forward, really bring to my mind the thought that there's the metaphysical text, A Course in Miracles, says that there's really only two basic human emotions, and that is love and fear. And the basic idea of Mother's Day is, of course, based on love. The idea that people should show love and gratitude to their mother if they can. Um, there's another 364 days a year where they can do that, but that was the idea of showing gratitude and support and taking care of. I believe that originally it wasn't even meant, that wasn't with the cards and the flowers and the brunch and so on. It was supposed to be a day of service, of going out and helping other women who were in a more difficult situation. But I could be wrong about that. And where was I? But so there's love and then there's fear. And fear leads to so many terrible things, because one reaction that a lot of people have to fear is a desire to control. And because the ability to create new humans is so magical, if you will. I mean, to be honest, we don't 100% know how it works. We can follow the biology and so on, but we still don't really know why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Um, it's just so complex and so complicated and so miraculous, really, to go from, two cells to a whole entire human. That is just miraculous. And so people are afraid of what they don't understand, and people are afraid of power that they can't control. So, just like people used to burn witches, because they were afraid of their power. This is not something new. And what's happening now with this desire to control people's uteruses and make them a source of domestic supply of infants. Who says that? But the idea that if you don't control it, it's going to overwhelm you. It's going to be scary. And the idea that if a woman has a person with a uterus, because there are people who have uteruses and don't identify as women. So I try to be inclusive in my language, and my apologies if I slip. But the idea that if people who have the uteruses have full agency and can choose for themselves what they do, whether they have children, with whom they have children, uh, to not have children. They can choose to have sex and not have children. They can choose to maybe have children that they want and no more. Or they can choose to have children with whomever they want. And that is really, really scary to a lot of people, specifically a lot of you know cis white men who are afraid of the collapse of the patriarchy, the collapse of white supremacy. It's not simple, and I really think that it's really, really revealing, this comment about source a supply of domestic supply of infants. I think that really tells us a lot of what we need to know. So motherhood is in some senses under attack, because on the one hand, somebody said that motherhood was valorized. I'm not quite sure what that means. If you know, please tell me. But as far as I can see, it's basically used as another instrument of oppression. The idea being is that if you do have, um, if you do produce children, that you should, you know, there's nothing wrong with staying home with your children. I did it myself for a few years, was bored out of my skull, but that's me. And people should have agency. And there's a lot of people who enjoy it immensely staying home with their young children, and they should be able to do that. That is why in civilized countries we have maternity leave and paternity leave too. Because you know what? It's the guy's not just for semen and money. Fathers are important too, but it's the idea that that is should be must be the be all and end all of any person who happens to have been born with a uterus. That is really scary to me. The idea that your entire life and all your potential and everything that your soul is allowed to do is determined by the body that you happen to be born in. That is, to me, that is really scary. So, that is really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to wish a happy Mother's Day to everyone who is celebrating. I wanted to send love and hugs to everyone who is finding it difficult. And I wanted to just put out there that while the ability to bring humans into the world is miraculous, that does not mean that the people who have that ability are A, defined by that ability, should only be allowed to express themselves with that ability, or that they should be forced to use that ability. Okay? Just because a person has a uterus doesn't mean he or she necessarily wants to carry babies in it. It doesn't say anywhere that you have to. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to. And just because you can doesn't mean that you shouldn't. That's the other thing. People should have agency over their own bodies and over their own souls and over their own lives. And the fact that women in particular have been treated as chattel for millennia doesn't make it right. And as humanity is evolving, we've evolved away from slavery mostly. Hopefully, God willing, one day we will evolve away from war. There are fewer wars than there used to be. It may not seem that way because they're on our screens every day, but there are actually fewer wars than there have been in the past. So I have good hope that we are actually evolving away from war. And I believe we are also going to evolve away from the patriarchy, and we are going to evolve away from white supremacy. But it's a painful, it's a difficult process. And I just wanted to send love and strength to everyone who's involved in this battle, if you will, in this process. Because I do believe that the younger generation, that the kids are all right, mostly. There's always people who have other agendas, but in general, I believe that the kids are going to be all right. And it's our job not to mess up the world too much before they get a chance to take over. So I'm going to close her down. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with me. And if you'd like to follow me, if you'd like to message me, if you're on Instagram, you can send me a message. If you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, you can message me. And I also have a link in my bio on all of these places. If you want to check out what I do, if you want to see how I help Silver Warriors feel great about themselves, you can check out the link. It's my link tree. It's got a few links to some of the things that I do, and also the ability to send me a message. So you have a great evening. Happy Mother's Day if you're celebrating, and stay strong if you're in the fight. You're not alone. Good night.